Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. Twisdale. Today I'm doing lesson 2.8 where you're going to be modeling mixed number division. So today your objective is I can model how to divide mixed number fractions. So again, the focus today is on modeling, not just solving it, but drawing a picture to represent that fraction division. Now if you remember from lesson 2.4 where we also did modeling fractions, it's really difficult to do it on the iPad, so I have another video of someone else that has done fraction modeling as well that might help. Try. Okay, so here's your first example. Now it's very important that you draw these pictures accurately so you can go back and refer to them later. So if you have 2 wholes divided by 1/4, another way to think about this is how many groups of a fourth are in 2. So if you look at this, if you have 2 wholes, and that's the blue bar, and you divide it by a 4th piece, how many fourths are in the 2 wholes? Can you see that there? So when you're looking at how many fourths are in 2 wholes, you count these. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 fourths in 1 whole, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 groups of 1/4 in 2 wholes. So that's what modeling fraction division looks like. Make sure you draw that down. Let's try another example. So here we have a little story problem. If I have 2.5 pounds of hamburger meat, and I want to use it to make hamburgers that weigh 1/4 pound each, how many hamburgers can I make? So I've got this big hunk of meat, and I want to split it into 4th pieces. So how many groups of 1/4 are in 2.5? So I'm going to draw 2, so here's my first bar, here's my second bar. Well, they're not exactly perfect. I'm going to try that one again, make it a little bit closer. And here's my last bar. And I just have a half of that one. So I'm going to label this 1 whole, 1 whole. That's 1 pound, 2 pounds, and a 1/2 pound. I'm going to use my highlighter here to show you how much meat I have. Okay. Now I want to split this into 1/4 size pieces. So this first pound of meat, oops, let's switch that. This first pound of meat, I'm going to split it into fourths. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. These are fourths. Oh, it's so hard to label that small. Okay. Second pound of meat, I'm going to label that into fourths, or split it into fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this 1/2 pound of meat, if I split that into fourths here, I'll only use half of it though. Oops. So now I just need to count how many pieces I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So how many groups of 1/4 are in 2.5? There are 10 groups of 1/4. And you'll notice that when you divide by a fraction, it actually gives you a larger number, which is kind of backwards. But you have to think how many groups of that small fraction are in your whole number. Make sure you draw that. That's the important part today. Okay, let's try another one. Now we have a plant that grows a 1/2 inch every week. So how many weeks will it take for that plant to go 1 3/4 of an inch? So the fraction problem that we're doing is 1 3/4 divided by a 1/2. Now I'm going to try drawing it. Oops. Let's try again. There's 1, 2. So here's 1, and then I need 3/4. So I'm going to split this one. Okay, and then I'm going to highlight to show you how much of it I'm using. Whoops, that's my eraser. Hold on. Let's try this piece. Highlight, so I'm using 3/4, 1 3/4. And then I'm going to draw another bar model at the bottom here that represents the 1/2 each week. So in the first hole, there's 1/2 and 1/2. Okay, there's 1/2 and 1/2. So how many groups of half are in 1 3/4? Here's one group, 2, 3, and you'll notice we just have half. So it's half there. So it'll take 3, hi Felicity, 3.5 weeks. Okay, now I want you guys to draw this picture in your notebook because I think this is one of the best visuals of what modeling fraction division looks like. So, Felicity, do you want to say hi? Oh, now she's not going to talk. She might say hi because she's sitting on my lap to help me. So here we have 1, 2.5. Do you guys see that? So here's 2.5, and that's represented in the first portion right here. And then they're going to divide it into 6. So they took each of those hexagons, I think they are, and they split them into 6 equal pieces. So this first hexagon had 6 pieces. This second hexagon had 6 pieces. And this last hexagon had 3 pieces. And so when we add how many 1/6 pieces are in 2.5, we get 12, 13, 14, 15 is our answer. I just think this is a really good representation of what it looks like. So I want you to draw this very, very carefully into your notebook. And when you get confused, look back at this picture. Okay, so now this came from the Go Math book. I don't really love how they've done this, but I'm going to show you what it looks like in case you come across something like this when you're doing your math, okay? So what we have here, and the answer's already in here. I'm going to just show you what I see. So they had 3.5 divided by 3. So, and I looked at the answer and I was trying to figure out what they did. So let me explain it. So listen as I'm talking. So they took 3.5 and I saw, okay, well here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, and 1/2. And then they divided it by 3. And I was looking down here and I was like, what? What did they do? And I really thought deeply about it because they got 1 1/6 per 3. And I realized this is what they did. They said, okay, here's one group, because they're trying to divide it into groups of 3. And it's 1 1/6. Here's my second group. Oh, sorry, it's a little crazy at our house tonight. And then here's my third group, because remember they're dividing it by 3. So in each of those groups, there's 1 and 1/6. And that's how they got that answer there. So now I'm going to give you guys a chance to try it. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to write your answer into the computer because you're drawing a picture. But I do want you to try it, and I'll check this when I'm checking your notebook. So I left this last example that we did in the previous slide. This is the one we just did together. I'm leaving it here so you can look back and try to use this example to help you solve this problem. Now, the answer is 5/8. But I want you to draw a model, okay? That's what I want you to do. I want you to try it because it's kind of tricky, but the best thing to do is to try it. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways to draw your model. This is what Go Math gave me. So this is what I'm going to show you. When I solved it, I actually solved it a different way, but here's one way that you could have solved this, okay? And again, you're still looking for that answer of 5/8. So they did 1 1/4. So here's 1, because there's 4 pieces, and 1/4. And then they split it in 2 different sections, just like in this problem up here, right? Here's the first group, and here's the second group. Oops, let me do it in different colors, it's a little easier to see. And so in each group there was 1/2 and 1/8. And so what they did is they just said, well, 1/2 is the same as 4/8. This is how I see that they did it. Again, it's kind of a weird way to do it. 4/8 plus 1/8 equals 5/8. Okay. Now, if you chose to draw different way, if you chose to use circles or octagons, it might have worked. So let me see it, and I'll take a look and see if it worked, okay? Okay, here's your next try it problem. I want you to draw 3.5 and divide it by a half. I want you to model that for me. The answer is going to be 7. I'll tell you the answer right now is 7, but I want you to show me what that looks like. Okay, so here's how Go Math did it. You could have done it a couple of different ways. I always use this problem. If I say I have 3.5 candy bars, there's 1, 2, 3.5, and I cut each one in half. That gives me 2, 4, 6, and then that half stays, so that's 7. That's how I get my 7. But what they did up here is here's 1, 2, 3.5, and when we divide it by half, it's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. There's a couple ways you can model different fractional division. I hope that mostly makes sense, and watch the second video and it should help as well to kind of give you some more clarity and understanding. If you need to, I have some fraction strips and circles that you can use for tools to help you understand this concept even more fully. That's all my lesson for today, boys and girls. I hope you have a wonderful day of learning.